was a kid, there was one car in particular that has always rocked my world. So much that I went and spent all of my money on a matching calendar and journal set from the school book fair. And on the cover of that journal and in every page of that calendar was the classic to new Dodge Charger. So I figured, hey, why not go back in time and figure out how this car was created and how it transformed into the beast that it is today. And hopefully change your guys' minds and feelings on these cars throughout the way. My name is Micah Johnson. Welcome to Rev Life. This story starts back in 1966. The demand for larger specialty cars was rapidly increasing, and people really wanted some upsized pony cars. The Mustang was selling like hotcakes, and literally everybody wanted a piece of it, but not everyone could fit their lifestyle into a Mustang. What if you had 3 kids? What if you had luggage to put in with 3 kids? It just kind of puts you in a hard spot. The first-gen Charger was actually targeted to compete with the Oldsmobile Toronto and the Ford Thunderbird rather than a muscle car. It actually shared some major components with the Corvette, including the chassis and much of the 2-door Corvette's front body. The Charger was originally created to target the people who were more quote-unquote mature than the Mustang buyers because apparently those were for kids. The base engine was a 5.2-liter V8 with a 3-speed manual transmission, but larger and more powerful engines were also available up to the 7.0-liter ME V8. The smallest V8 was able to push about 230 horsepower and 340 foot-pounds of torque, and the big dog V8 was able to push about 425 horsepower and 489 foot-pounds of torque, so a very big upgrade. Altogether, for a 1966, this thing pushing almost 500 horsepower is absolutely insane. This car was rear-wheel drive, had 4 seats, massive drums in the front and back, and all in all, this thing looked pretty sweet. It looked kind of classy, kind of muscly, kind of cool, kind of aggressive. I like it a lot. And even though I may think these cars look cool, the sales for the Gen 1 Charger were actually surprisingly low. Now, it's going to be hard to convince people who were going crazy over the Mustang and other pony cars at the time to switch to a slightly heavier, slower option, but you gotta understand, this is not targeted towards Mustang buyers. It's targeted towards Mustang's buyers' parents. Make sense? And in 1968, the Dodge Charger was redesigned and pushed back out to America. The second-gen Charger was still being built on the B-body platform, but abandoned the sophisticated look of the first generation in its design. Both the rear and front clips now curved in what was known as a Coke bottle profile, and the car gained about 5 inches in length. That's, you know. Yeah. And in the years of its production, it went through even more cosmetic changes to both the exterior and interior. Some of these included going from twin and round taillights to broad horizontal units, and adding a horizontal trim to the grille. The engines were carried over from the first generation, but they went ahead and threw in a 3.7-liter Slant 6 in mid-1968. The second-gen Charger went into NASCAR thinking that they could steal the crown, but actually sucked. It wasn't aerodynamic, and it didn't do good on the track. So, a new aerodynamic shape was formed. First called the Charger 500 model, then changed into the Charger Daytona in 1969. You know this car. He's in cars. And after that, the Charger actually went on to win most of the NASCAR races in 1970, helping Bobby Isaac win the championship that year. Not only that, but the Dukes of Hazzard TV show also dropped, helping make Americans even more turned on to the idea of a Charger. And in 1968, a high-performance package was added called the RT, which stood for Road and Track. The RT came standard with the previous year's 440 Magnum, with the 426 Hemi also available. And the RT was actually dubbed the top Chrysler-made muscle car ever. In the same year, Chrysler began a marketing campaign featuring a cartoon bee with an engine on its back, promoting the models called the Scat Pack. Keep that in mind. And over the course of the next couple years, not much change other than just slight cosmetic changes on both interior and exterior. But all in all, the second generation Dodge Charger was actually doing really well for itself. It actually established its own name, it made itself different from the Mustang, and was very, very popular. And I gotta say, this is where the traction started to be built. The first generation, love it. You're great. I love you for what you are, but the Gen 2 definitely takes the crowd for me. And in 1971, the new Charger debuted. These new Chargers had a split grille, optional flip-up headlights, a new rear spoiler, and hood scoops also became an option. Several of the other models were actually carried over from the last generation, including the 500, RT, and SE. This car actually came with a 7.2-liter V8, which was able to push 375 horsepower and 480 foot-pounds of torque. Yet again, it was rear-wheel driven and has an estimated 0 to 60 in about 6.3 seconds, but that's iffy. In 1972, the Charger was reintroduced with a new rally option to replace the RT version, and over the next couple of years, the Charger received multiple cosmetic changes that made the car wider, longer, and taller, which led the Charger to veer away from being a muscle car and more towards a personal comfort car. The muscle car era had ended, with the 1974 model being the last with any performance upgrades. And honestly, things didn't look too great for the Charger. Sales weren't doing necessarily amazing, but as they started shifting towards the new personal luxury version of these cars, sales were going back up, so that's what they stuck to. In 1975, the Charger was reimagined for personal luxury, whatever the heck that means. It ain't a Bentley, stop. There's only one model sold this year, that being the Special Edition. This came in either a 5.0-liter small block V8 or a 6.6-liter big block V8. And this Charger produced from 145 to 275 horsepower and from 230 to 375 foot-pounds of torque. Obviously, this Charger got some adjustments to its cosmetic appearance. Better or worse, let me know in the comment section below. Definitely different. I'll say that for sure. Despite the odd appearance of this car, it actually ended up selling over 30,000 of these things. I don't know how, but congratulations, Dodge. I guess you did good. And a year later, these cars looked a little bit better, drove a little bit better. The models were back. A little bit of sportiness, muscly was back. Muscleness was back, which enabled them to sell double the amount they sold the previous year. Nice job, Dodge. And in 1978, this generation came to an end, bringing us to the 1981.5 model. The Charger had returned. This time, this is even further than the last generation. This is crazy. The Charger came back as a front-wheel drive, subcompact hatchback coupe with a 5-speed manual or a 3-speed automatic transmission. This thing came with a tiny 2.2-liter Volkswagen engine, which pushed what I can find 84 horsepower and such low amounts of torque that I can't even find it on the internet. Dodge, what were you smoking? And in 1984, Shelby came to the rescue and allowed this thing to push 142 horsepower and 160 foot-pounds of torque. I'm gonna be completely honest, I've never even seen this. I didn't even know this thing existed before this exact moment. You know, considering the fact that there's a different engine, a different body, a different name for some of the generations, it's a different car. This isn't a Charger. I'm gonna count this. I'm just gonna skip this one. I mean, obviously it's the 5th generation, but I'm just gonna skip it. We're gonna say it never existed, wipe it from our memory, and let's just keep this thing nice and pure, shall we? Luckily, at the end of this thing's lifespan, it was able to push 175 horsepower and foot-pounds of torque, only because of Shelby literally rescuing this thing from certain death. And luckily, they killed this thing off. I'm not gonna lie, this thing needed to die. This was an injured animal I needed to put down. It just needed to be, okay? And from the year of 1987 to 2006, the world of the Charger was silent. I guess you just thought the Charger was dead at this point. I mean, look at this thing. It doesn't look like it's going to survive. The last generation was, well, you saw it. And the future was very, very uncertain. Well, after a 20-year break, Dodge came back swinging harder than ever. Dodge reintroduced the Charger in 2005 for the 2006 model year, which was built on the Chrysler LX platform based on a 4-door sedan. Initially, the Charger was available in the SE, SXT, RT, and Daytona RT versions. These cars came with a wide variety of engines, including the 2.7-liter V6, all the way up to a 6.1-liter Hemi V8 in the SRT8, which would later be released. The SRT8 was able to push 425 horsepower and 420 foot-pounds of torque. It was rear-wheel driven, had a 5-speed automatic, and a 0 to 60 in around 5 seconds. The Charger was back to its roaring beauty of tires screeching madness, with the options for you folks that don't really care for that as well. I understand. Over the next 4 years, this car being produced, there were multiple cosmetic changes and tweaks to the engine that allowed it to push more horsepower here and there. And by 2010, Dodge was back in the swing of things. So much so they actually continued to roll these bad boys out in the new 7th generation. The next year, the Charger received multiple restyles that made the car look so much better. These included new side scoops, more angular headlights, aggressive new grille styling, and of course a more defined and aerodynamic shape overall. Most notably, the backside adopted a new modern wraparound LED light spanning nearly the entire trunk width, which still looks so good today. Driver visibility was improved by more than 15%, addressing complaints from the previous years. Apparently people couldn't see while driving these things. It's a common issue with muscle cars, just get over it. But not only was the style improved, so was the performance. So much so that the 3.5-liter V6 was actually replaced with the Pentastar 3.6-liter V6, which pushed 229 horsepower and 260 foot-pounds of torque. These cars are also fitted with a brand new 5-speed automatic, and sadly enough, the SRT8 was not produced for this year. What a shame. The SRT8 also returned to the model lineup, and all-wheel drive was added to every V6, making all-wheel drive available on every car except for the SRT model. These SRT8s had a 6.4-liter V8 Hemi, which pushed 470 foot-pounds of torque and horsepower. And over the next couple of years, there were some sick additions added, including the Mopar 11 edition, the Dodge Charger Juiced, and the Dodge Charger RT Blacktop. These were usually just one-off versions of the car, but they actually look really cool. Dodge continued to tweak all the engines, increasing the horsepower output throughout the years, and in 2015 gave the Dodge Charger a brand new look. Unveiled at the 2014 New York International Auto Show, the 2015 Dodge Charger received a substantial makeover. Retaining its quote-unquote Coke bottled style, Dodge claimed to have worked just about every panel on the car to make it look more leaner and more athletic. And supposedly Dodge used the 1969 Charger as the inspiration for the remodel. But ladies and gentlemen, that's not all. Because also in 2015, the Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat was released. This car came with a 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi V8, which pushed 707 horsepower and 650 foot-pounds of torque. What? The 2015 Hellcat also features a new lowered grille, which makes the car look even more aggressive than it did previously, and held the title of the fastest four-door sedan to ever be built when released. The car continued to get better and better over the next couple of years, and in 2020 they added a wide body for this car, and oh my goodness, chef's kiss. The wide body was made available as an option for the Scat Pack and permanently replaced the Charger Hellcat's body. This came with new fender flares, massive rims, massive wheels, better suspension, better calipers, better anti-roll bars, assisted steering system, line lock, and launch control. Oh, and if I may, let me just show you my dream car really quickly. Boom. Isn't that sweet? Who wouldn't drive that thing? Red with black stripes, wide body, black rims, supercharger. You know what I'm talking about? That's the noise it makes. This is like a hurt dog. But of course, it's Dodge. They weren't done there. In 2021, they released the SRT Hellcat Red Eye. People are insane. This thing added 90 more horsepower and had 707 foot-pounds of torque. This thing came with a reinforced 8-speed automatic transmission, something called an SRT Power Chiller, which it just cools on your car after you race somebody, after you gap them. It's insane. But yet again, they weren't done there. They then released the Jailbreak Edition. Yeah, who needs that? Which added extra horsepower to the one that added extra horsepower to the one that added extra horsepower. Do you see what I'm saying? These cars were able to push 807 horsepower. 807 horsepower. Do you hear what I'm saying right now? And added full customizability to the Charger from the factory to make it customized to your liking. All in all, I gotta say I'm a little biased this generation because that wide body kit looks so freaking good. And you can buy it from factory. It's insane. I've actually got the chance to ride in the Scat Pack version of one of these cars, and it blew my mind. It's beautiful inside. The seats were so nice. Like, it's insane. The seats were nice. And the car definitely wowed me in terms of speed. So the question is, what was your favorite generation, package, body style, you name it? Let me know in the comments section below. If you have a story, I'd love to hear it. It's so amazing seeing how everyone is impacted differently by these cars. All in all, this car had a beautiful history, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys want to see any other cars in the future from any generation, any time period, anywhere in the world, you name it, you let me know in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to make a video on it soon. But without further ado, thank you for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. Drive safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.